From the East Brunswick Jewish Center, I'm Rabbi Jeff Pivo. At the beginning of Parshat Vayetze this week, we read the famous passage of Jacob's dream, in which he sees angels going up and down a ladder that stretches from earth to the heavens. Upon awakening, he realizes that the dream is a sign of the sanctity of the place that he's been sleeping, and he names it as the lodging of God, Beit El. One way to understand that revelation to Jacob is to pay attention to how the episode is situated in the Torah. Jacob arrives at that place where he experiences God's presence after fleeing from his brother's wrath and before he meets his wives, Rachel and Leah. Jacob is in transition, running from a past that threatens him and towards an unknown future. He's alone, maybe frightened, and carrying the weight of his deception of his brother and his father, as well as the expectations for his own and family's future. At that point, in the middle of the night, in a place he would not have otherwise noticed, Jacob has an overwhelming experience of the divine. You don't have to be a psychologist to suspect that when he needed most was God, and that God was there. But saying that Jacob needed God then doesn't mean that God was or is merely a projection of our hopes and fears. Rather, Jacob's open to a relationship with the divine in a way that he was not before or after. Years later, having built up a large family, Jacob will return home and again have a nighttime experience of the divine that prepares him for another fateful meeting, this time with the brother from whom he fled so many years before. In each case, it's in the quiet of the night, on the threshold of a new chapter in his life, that Jacob and we most need to feel a connection to a power greater than ourselves. The gates of heaven are said to always be open, but perhaps we are most keenly aware of that fact when we are alone and apprehensive, when we know how much is truly at stake. A Shabbat Shalom from all of us here at the East Brunswick Jewish Center.